Bronte White, and I'm in the audience.
My name's Keisha. I'm in the audience.
My name's Cameron Gray. I'm in the audience.
My name is Scotty Gray, and I'm in the audience.
My name is Jacoby Williams, and I'm in the audience.
My name is James Hudson. I'm in the audience.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for attending my information session on child abuse. Most of you have probably heard the recent news regarding the much anticipated visit of Pope Francis to the United States. Today marks the Pope's last day of his visit. According to the SeattleTimes.com Nation World Report, during a visit in Philadelphia today, Pope Francis met with former child abuse victims and vowed to address their concerns. The Pope, saddened by the child abuse in the Catholic community, conveyed to the child abuse victims that God weeps for them. Not only does God weep for them, we weep for them as well. For this important reason, I would like to provide you with a concrete understanding of the different types of child abuse. When we say child abuse, most people immediately think of a physical offense against a child. However, there are actually 4 types of categories for child abuse. The 4 types of child abuse are physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and neglect. A child may experience all types of abuses at one time. For example, they may have an experience where they are emotionally abused, physically abused, experiencing neglect, as well as being sexually abused. On some occasions, they may experience some types of abuse, or a combination of those types, such as emotional abuse and maybe neglect. Or it may be just one type of abuse, such as just sexual abuse. ChildHelp.org provides some alarming statistics on the prevalence of the different types of child abuse in the United States. The organization states the following. Physical abuse leads at 28.3%. Sexual abuse follows at 20.7%. Physical and emotional neglect at 14.8%. And emotional abuse comes in third at 10.6%. It is important to understand the definition of each type of abuse. The Center of Disease Control on Child Abuse Prevention defines the 4 types of child abuse as follows. Physical abuse is the use of physical force against a child. Examples of physical abuse type behavior would be hitting, kicking, burning, or shaking a child. I am sure you all have heard of newborns being shook to a point where it caused them harm. So shaking would be a type of behavior that would cause physical harm to a child. Secondly, sexual abuse is defined as engaging a child in sexual acts. The acts may include fondling, penetration, and exposure to sexual activities. Third would be emotional abuse. Emotional abuse includes behavior that harms a child's self-worth or self-esteem, or it harms their well-being, emotional well-being. Behaviors that would cause emotional abuse are name-calling, rejection, and someone threatening a child. All of those type of behaviors would fall under that category. Neglect, which is a abuse that is often overlooked, is the failure to meet a child's basic physical and emotional needs, such as food, clothing, and other necessities. The reason that it is important to understand the different types of child abuse is because the different types of child abuse, if you are aware of them, it can give you an idea of what to detect in a child if they are experiencing child abuse. For example, if you notice that a child is wearing the same clothes every day and not being taken care of as far as their hygiene, then of course that would be a sign of neglect. And most people don't think that neglect is a sign of child abuse. Or if you have an experience with a child where you see that they have some physical type of markings on them, then physical abuse is obviously one of the more prevalent ones, and you would know that. But it's good to know all of the different types of abuses, so when you see them, that you can be aware of them and be mindful of those as it relates to children. It is vitally important to report any suspicious indications of child abuse to the Department of Family and Children's Services promptly. The Georgia Department of Family and Children's Services Child Abuse Hotline is 1-855-GA-CHILD. Again, that number is 1-855-GA-CHILD. You can call this hotline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Recently, WWOT NBC News reported that 2 young boys, aged 2 and 4, were saved from an abusive situation. The mother and the father were leaving the children at home and locking them up for hours at a time. Someone who understood the definitions and signs of child abuse immediately reported the situation to the authorities, and the children were rescued. The world would be a better place for our children if we had more child abuse stories ending with the successful removal of children from bad situations, such as the one that occurred in Omaha. It is important to understand the different categories of child abuse so that we can help to save our children. And it is important to be mindful with children as you see the certain signs and those things that may indicate child abuse, that you immediately report them and get help for the children. That is the end of my speech, and I hope you learned something about child abuse. Thank you.